Good afternoon, and welcome to the 19th annual John J. Duncan Senior Awards for Senior Advocacy. And you know, this has been quite a year, as we all know. A lot of things have happened with COVID-19. It's kind of nice to dress up and see everybody else and go out and party a little bit for a change. But it is an unusual year, and we had planned to live stream this session, and unfortunately, we're having internet problems. It's just not fast enough to do video live stream. So we are recording today's presentation, and it will be posted later, and they'll send a link out through the Office on Aging. So pretend like we're live. We are recorded. Used to say on tape, but now we're on a little bitty computer chip. But we will record today's activities and ceremonies. So I would like to take a moment to, first of all, to welcome all of you, to welcome everybody in attendance here. I see a few familiar faces to me. I see a few dignitaries, and we'll be moving through that a little later on. But I also wanted to thank our event sponsors, because anyone who has ever done an event knows that it doesn't happen without sponsors. So running through our list, our Red Ribbon sponsors were Medicare Insurance Advisors, Hunter Valley Farm as our host, Arbor Terrace, and then our food sponsors were Morning Point Assisted Living and Memory Care, and I believe everybody's got a party box in front of you. Then Senior Citizens Home Assistance Service, also known as SHAS. I see Tim in the back of the room. They are a sponsor. And the family of James R. Allen, Alice Allen family, thank you very much for your sponsorship. Also, Quality Private Duty Care, United Healthcare, NHC Farragut, Alzheimer's Tennessee, and Bob and Maureen Stokes. And they're also in your program, and I just hope that when you have the opportunity to pat these folks on the back or to do business with the businesses, that you take that opportunity and thank them too for sponsoring this event. I would like to take one other moment to thank a couple of others who are not in the program, and even without streaming video, these things would not have been possible. And I want to thank Ball Camp Baptist Church for the loan of the equipment today, the camera and the laptop. And then my son, Chris Evans, who is with Streamline Productions, and they set up some of our expertise, loaned us some equipment and also a lot of cables that we didn't otherwise have. So because of those, we are actually able to record this. So again, thank you to all of those sponsors. So I would like to invite you to take a moment of silence with me, and we will remember our guests who have passed. They are recipients of this award in the past, and unfortunately have gone on to their glory. Peggy Wirtz, Ellen Turner and Helen Ash, Jim Hicks, William Shaw, Stan Bowling, and Penny Bandy. So if we would, let's take a few moments to just remember them. Thank you very much. One other thing I do want to mention to you, those of you who are here in the room today, there was an insert in your program, which I just dropped, but on it is the link to the online auction. Senator Massey is holding one up there, but and we invite you, that auction, I've got another one. That auction is open until 6 o'clock this Sunday evening, May the 9th. So unfortunately, without the stream, the folks at home are not going to be able to participate in that auction unless we are able to get the recording up sooner. But please take advantage of some really great things up there. I've talked enough, and there's a dear friend of mine here now. I used to knock on his door in Washington when I was advocating for the American Cancer Society, twisted on his arm a lot about cancer issues. But I want to welcome Congressman Jimmy Duncan to the podium and ask him to say a few words for us.
Well, Bill, thank you very much. I have known Bill for a long time, and he did come to see me about every year in Washington advocating for cancer. And of course, now I'm going through cancer treatments myself, so I'm glad he did the work that he did. And I've known Barbara Kelly for a long, long time too. She said a while ago, since I was a little boy, but that was not true because I'm older than she. But also I want to first of all congratulate Vivian and Aaron. Also, I've known them for a long time. They've been involved in the community activities in this area for a long time. But I also have to say I'm proud of my sister Becky. It's a true story. I wasn't too sure whether people would really like for both of us to be in office at the same time. So when she told me she was first going to run, I told her she'd get slaughtered. Well, boy, she showed me. I was trying to talk her out of running. But I'm so proud of what she's done. And also the work that she does over in Nashville. But she asked me to say just a few words about my father, and we were very proud of my dad. In fact, I had a man tell me a few years ago, he said, "You won the lottery with parents." And I'd never thought of it in that way, but we were blessed with a great mother and a great father too. My dad grew up in a family of 10 children. Our grandparents had 10 kids in an outhouse and not much more. And Daddy hitchhiked into Knoxville with $5 in his pocket to go to UT and work his way through school. And then 20 years later, he was elected mayor and spent 6 years as mayor. And he led so many things. He led the peaceful integration of Knoxville. And in fact, the African American community in Knoxville gave Daddy about 95% of the vote in his three races for mayor. But he was responsible for getting these senior citizen centers opened. And then when he went to Washington, he was the first one that put in the revenue sharing legislation that has meant so much to the city of Knoxville and in Knox County in a lot of ways. I will tell you, though, that Daddy's favorite story, Becky told me to tell a story, and I've got too many stories, but I will tell you his favorite story. He went up to Claiborne County one day, and he spoke to the high school, but the second grade teacher said, "Congressman Duncan, our kids aren't going to get to hear you. Would you step into our class?" And he said, "Sure." And he stepped in, and the teacher said, "Now, boys and girls, do you know who this is?" And said, one little fella in the back raised his hand, and he said, "I think it's Frank Sinatra." And but anyway, this organization has done so much good for so many people for so many years. It's just amazing, and I apologize for having to slip out. I think some people don't know that I'm retired now, but I do appreciate being invited, and so thank you very, very much for letting me come be with you for a few minutes here tonight. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Congressman Duncan, for those kind remarks and for making my job just a little bit easier, because I'm Barbara Kelly with CAC, and I think it's because I've been around so long that I always get the job to tell the history. Okay, I guess it's because many people think I've lived the history, but that's not always true. So anyway, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the history of the Duncan Award. And so as Bill said starting out, this is a time like no other, and I just really appreciate the opportunity to be part of this event that recognizes, the Duncan Senior Advocacy Award. And I just want to also add my words of welcome to those of you who are here today. And of course, I was going to say a special hello to the folks who are with us remotely, but I guess they're not. So we'll just skip that part, right? Well, I do want to say one thing by way of a little commercial. Let's say this. Next year, all together, all here. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. Encourage everyone, roll up those sleeves, get vaccinated. It's on you. Do it. So, thank you to the advisory council members, staff, sponsors, past honorees, present. We're so happy to have senators, two senators we have with us, Senator Massey and Senator Briggs. They're both here with us today, and we're so pleased that they made that commitment to support our event. And of course, at an event like this, the spotlight belongs on Aaron and on Vivian, who have done so much to deserve the honor that they're receiving today. But you're going to hear more about that in a little bit. I always think that names are really important. And so I'm always curious to know the story behind, you know, a bridge is named, a street is named, a highway is named, a building is named, an award is named. So it's just nice to look for a minute, if you're curious like I am, and say, well, why is that name with that particular item? In this case, the Duncan Awards. Well, in this case, the answer is really easy. As you heard from Congressman Duncan Jr., John Duncan Sr. represented the 2nd District of Tennessee, United States Congress for 23 years. And he had a reputation for outstanding constituent service. If you would ask one thing, constituent services. And what does that come down to mean? He helped his friends, he helped his neighbors at home, especially seniors, to cut through red tape and regulations, the things that are complex and confusing, so that they could get the services and the benefits that they need and were eligible for. And that's what constituent service really comes down to. And I could stop right there. But I also wanted to tell you just a little bit, because it relates to things that we're experiencing today, about Congressman Duncan's strong record of public service before he went to Washington. He was the mayor during a time that I find most fascinating, from 1959 to 1964. And what do they say about that time? Times, they were a-changin'. And Mayor Duncan undertook some very interesting things. First of all, he undertook to overhaul Market Square. Now, that was a very controversial thing at the time. It's hard to believe. But can we imagine downtown Knoxville without the Dogwood Arts Festival? Without the farmers market? Without Shakespeare on the square? Ice skating at Christmas? And countless other festivals, events, shops, and restaurants. And it's all coming back, and it's coming back soon. So that was one thing. Then, what else was going on? Textiles was a big thing here in Knoxville, and that was declining. Textile mills were closing. Unemployment was high. And Mayor Duncan was one of the first leaders to propose a public-private partnership to promote job creation and economic development. Again, it's something that was very controversial at the time. But today, public-private partnerships are the heart of the vibrant downtown that we know as the heart of Knoxville, public-private partnerships. And what is on our mind a lot these days? Equity and social justice. Much on our hearts, much on our minds. In 1960, Congressman Duncan referred to this, faced with sit-ins to protest segregated downtown lunch counters, Mayor Duncan took the lead in forming goodwill committees that encouraged downtown businesses to integrate their lunch counters without the violence that was widespread at the time. Let me ask you, does goodwill ever go out of style? And this is my favorite, because right before he left for Congress, Mayor Duncan joined with County Executive Howard Bozeman, and they created CAC as a city-county agency to carry out programs promoting equity and opportunity. So that was one of my favorites. So in 1968, we had SCIRS founded Senior Citizens Information Referral Service, it was called at the time, and it became part of the Duncan Award. It became part of the Office on Aging in 2004. And the Duncan Award was already in place to honor one person. It was later expanded to include two persons, one who advocated as a professional, the other a senior who engaged in significant advocacy effort. So, named after an outstanding public servant with a special place in his heart for seniors, the Duncan Award continues to honor those who, through service and advocacy, make Knoxville a place to age in dignity, securely, safely, and with the network of services that are needed to promote independent living. And I really just have to say one more thing, because I have to lift up the outstanding way that the Aging Network, the Office on Aging, has stepped up and led during this pandemic to make sure that Knoxville and Knox County seniors were safe and that they had access to services that in many instances, and I could tell you the stories, turned out to be simply life-saving. Open every day, never missed a bit. So, yeah, that's right. So we have a history and a future to honor and to be proud of. And I'm just so happy to be here with you today. And I'm so happy that we're all physically present and we can touch one another and do a few little hugs. So anyway, thank you so much. I'm just so pleased to be with you. And congratulations, everyone. And now, I get to introduce Dottie Lyras, the director of the Office on Aging, and she's going to take it from here. Thank you, Dottie.
Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for being here today to honor our two wonderful recipients, Vivian Underwood Shipe and Aaron Bradley. We are so glad that we could be here to do this actually in person. So they're actually like 2-year recipients. So they get to be honored really for 2 years. So thank you all so much, and the sun is shining for us today. The Office on Aging is a program that's been around for about 46 years. And we provide more than 20 programs and services for older adults here in Knox County. And we have over 40 staff that help with that, but we rely on countless volunteers and others that help us in kind of our efforts around that. We have services, which you'll hear a little bit about in a minute, about our Senior Information Referral. We do information and assistance services through East Tennessee 211, through our Senior Information and Referral program, and really through a lot of our programs that we do as well. We also have programs such as benefits and outreach that help individuals sign up for things that might help save them money, might help them sign up for Medicare, things such as that. We provide a lot of nutritional support. Many of you may be familiar with our Mobile Meals program, which provides homebound individuals with meals 5 days a week, hot meals, and someone to check on them and lay eyes on them and give them some support. We have a lot of volunteer opportunities through many of our programs, and some specifically designated for volunteers. We have programs such as the O'Connor Senior Center that provides recreation opportunities and health opportunities for older adults. And we have employment and training programs as well for those 50 and over who might be seeking work, might need to get help with a resume or help with job training to get them back into the workforce. And we have a lot of other programs that support individuals and their families, such as our Daily Living Center Adult Daycare Center. We provide case management in the home for individuals. And we also have programs that help with things such as telephone reassurance. And that's been really important the past year with COVID and checking on individuals, providing some peer support for them, especially when they couldn't get out over the past year and they needed that extra help. We also have some programs that focus on elder abuse and elder abuse prevention and trying to work around that to help individuals who are in need. Many of you may not know that we also have a program that is focused on grandparents as parents, those who might be taking care of a minor child for whatever reason. The parents were unable to, or what have you. We also have some programs that are focused on connecting pets to seniors and matching them up, as well as helping to feed those animals who are living with older adults as well. We provide lots of different services, and we have lots of different publications. I could talk all day about what we do, that provide information and provide outreach to individuals here in the community. We have a newsletter, we have all this wonderful stuff. And we are just here really to support older adults here in this community. There are over 76,000 individuals 65 and over here who live in Knox County, and we are probably only meeting the needs of some of them because others may not know we exist. So we are just so grateful to be here today and to be a part of this, to be able to honor Vivian and Aaron today. With the Office on Aging, of course, one of our programs, as we mentioned, is the Senior Information and Referral Program, as Ms. Kelly mentioned. And that is the program that helps to lead this effort for our Duncan Awards. And I'm going to invite Sarah Mary Wallace, who's our outreach coordinator, to come up and share with you a little bit about Senior Information and Referral. So thank you all so much.
Everybody else is much taller than me, apparently, so hope you can hear me okay. Thank you, Dottie, and thank you all for coming out to help us celebrate Vivian and Aaron and all the awesome work that they do. But thank you also for coming out to support Senior Information and Referral. In case you didn't know, you were supporting us too, so thank you. If you are unfamiliar with Senior Information and Referral, you can give us a call at 865-546-6262. And we will be glad to tell you about all the different services that are available in Knox County. That's what I did last week when I talked to Miss Betty on the phone. She called us from Illinois because she was very excited that her 90-year-old aunt who lives here in Knoxville by herself finally admitted that she might need a little help at home with different tasks and that, which Miss Betty was very excited about, but also terrified because being in Illinois, she has no idea what is available here in Knox County. So she started our conversation the way that so many other people do with, I'm not sure if this was the right place to call, but, and lucky for her, it is in fact the right place to call. By the end of our conversation, I was able to tell her about the options program that's run by ETHRA, Aaron's agency. I was able to tell her about the Shaz Out Shopping program to get her help with getting groceries. I was able to mail her and her aunt here in Knoxville a copy of our senior service directory. Shameless plug, get your new copy May 18th at the O'Connor Senior Center. And so she was just very relieved to have a resource to connect with and be able to learn about all that information. As was Miss Edna, who I spoke to earlier this week. She called our Gift of Sight, Hearing, and Denture program, which we also operate out of the SIR office. She was in need of a hearing aid, which I can assure you she definitely was in need of a hearing aid. And so we got her on the list for that program. But then I asked her if she would also like a savings checkup, which is another service that we offer where we help screen seniors to see if there's other money-saving benefits that they might be able to offer. Turns out that Miss Edna was eligible for LIHEAP utility assistance to help with her KUB bill. She was eligible for SNAP benefits to help with her groceries, and she was also eligible for help with her Medicare prescription drug coverage, all of which were programs she had never heard of and had no idea how to apply for. So we assisted her with those applications, and when all is said and done, Miss Edna will be saving hundreds of dollars every month by the time those are all processed. So we are very lucky and blessed to be able to be that resource for folks, that we're able to connect social service agencies through our 211 database and interagency meetings, that we're able to tell people about the vaccine clinics that Vivian's been telling everybody about, and we can connect seniors to some of those services. No matter what people need, if they need just a quick phone number for a senior center, if they need if they have questions about Alzheimer's resources, anything, Senior Information and Referral is there. And if we don't know the answer, we will try to find it out and let them know. Last fiscal year, we took over 6,000 contacts. We gave over 9,700 referrals out to community partners. We helped over 150 people get glasses, hearing aids, or dentures. We delivered 33 birthday packages to all the Knox County seniors who are 100 years or older in May. You might have heard there was a pandemic happening during all that. So Luana and I, my partner in crime, we kept very busy, and we're very blessed to be able to do that with the support of awesome folks like Vivian and Aaron and all of you wonderful people in the room. So we appreciate you all being here. We appreciate you shopping the silent auction and buying party bags with wine to enjoy after you leave. And I will stop talking now so we can get to the real folks who deserve the honor, Miss Vivian and Mr. Aaron. But thank you all so much for supporting our program as well tonight.
Thank you, Sarah Mary. And I will give a personal testimony to the help of Senior Information Referral Services. As I was approaching retirement and needed to wade through Medicare, they were very helpful in pointing me in the right direction. So that's very appreciated. So I know that they're there. But did you say 6,000 contacts? Wow, that's amazing, folks. Okay, as Sarah Mary said, we're now at the part of the program where the real reason we're here, and I want to introduce Madonna Murphy. Madonna is the daughter of Vivian Underwood Shipe, and Madonna will give us, I'm saying that wrong. No, I did say it, Madonna, I'm sorry. I kept wanting to say LaDonna. Madonna will give us a biography on our honoree, Ms. Shipe. So, LaDonna.
Good evening. It is my honor to be able to stand before you and to share my mom's biography. She truly is my shero. Thank you for having me tonight. Vivian Underwood Shipe is a native of Knoxville, Tennessee. Her parents were the late George and Era Lee Harold Underwood. Her father was a veteran of both the Korean and World War II wars. He was also the first African American hired by the United States Postal Service. And as you know, she also was at the post office where the same day I was born, was sworn in. If you haven't heard that story, she will share that with you. Her mother, my grandmother, graduated college at the age of 16. She was a teacher who taught in a one-room schoolhouse in the mountains of Kentucky. Vivian is the proud mother of 3 children, James Shipe Jr., Jacob, and Madonna Murphy. She is a grandmother of 6 and the great-grandmother of 3. Vivian served as a public servant for almost 40 years, 35 of those years with the U.S. Postal Service, where she was also the union president of the NAPFE for 25 years. And for 2 of those years, she served as a recruiter and supervisor for the Census Bureau for the 2020 decennial count. She is also a reporter for the state newspaper out of Nashville, Tennessee, the Tennessee Tribune. She believes in being part of the change you want to see. She currently serves in the following committees and boards: the KUB Advisory Committee, Knox Renaissance, Mental Health Association of East Tennessee, the Knoxville Suffrage Coalition, the Knoxville-Knox County Elder Abuse Task Force, the State Pre-Arrest Diversion Committee, the Faith Leaders Initiative. She is co-lead for the Family Community Offer Knox Substance Disease Task Force and is a charter member of the East Knox Lions Club. She was a recipient of the 2019 Martin Luther King Advocacy Award, the 2020 Clara Brown Servant Leadership Award, and the 2020 Duncan for Community Advocacy. She currently is a member of the 2021 Leadership Knoxville class. She is a community advocate for over 50 years. Vivian has worked in collaboration with other organizations to open the Behavioral Health Urgent Care Center, which is an alternative to the jail for the mentally ill. Vivian worked to bring community voice in support of Project GRAD. She worked on the state level to get $15 million into the budget for the statewide mental health funding. She worked with state reps to close down a group home found to be abusing of elderly residents, and she fought against the proposed 30% cut to indigent care. Vivian, my mother, is the founder and executive director of the nonprofit organization I Am the Voice of the Voiceless. Their mission for over 10 years has been to represent the most vulnerable of the populations and to see them made whole by bringing resources and being that voice for at the table. Currently, she is working with Connect Ministries. She is, and also with Vice Mayor Gwen McKenzie and the New Directions Healthcare Solutions and Faith Initiative to get the vaccines in arms of people of color. Her current project, ARM, A-R-M, which stands for Address the Issues of Concern, Resolve Fears, and Make an Informed Decision to Get Vaccinated, is working to reach people of all cultures in Knox and surrounding counties. Vivian, my mom, firmly believes we are only as great as the least of us, and we must stand and advocate as a voice for those who cannot. One more thing. Her life is guided by two scriptures, Proverbs 19:17. Those who give to the poor are lending to God, and he will repay you. And Matthew 25:40, the king will say to them, to the extent that you did these of the least of for my brothers, you did for me. Congratulations, Mom. Thank you. And I have one more. You'll stand up. And I have one gift for my mom, Vivian Underwood Shipe. It's a gift from your dear friend, so I'll bring this over to you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Madonna. And I know why you're so proud. I can see the pride on your face while you're there. And your brother back here, too. I was watching him. So, wow, what accomplishments. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And you'll have an opportunity to speak in just a few minutes, too, please. Right now, and first of all, Becky, I owe you an apology because I didn't mention you earlier, and I knocked on your door about cancer issues just as much in Knoxville or Nashville as I did on Jimmy's door in Washington. So, but I do want to invite you now to the podium, and Senator Becky Massey will now read the bio of our second honoree, Aaron Bradley. Becky.
Thank you, and it really is an honor to be here with everybody in here as heroes. So if you've got somebody close to you, pat them on the back and thank them for all they do for caring for our community and we've got two major honorees here, but everybody here is a hero. And you know, it's fun, and I'm going to get to our bio here in just a second, but one, we have to bring Daddy's portrait every year. This hangs in my office in Nashville, and I always make sure that I get it here at least a week ahead of time in case I get stuck in Nashville like I did 2 years ago. And Jimmy had to be my backup. It's always kind of nice to have him be my backup now. But anyway, but one thing, I want to talk about a song that is most important to me. And that these two honorees, who I just respect both of them so highly, is a Matthew West song that it says "Do Something," and in the song, the singer basically says, you know, I looked around and saw all the troubles of the world, and I shook my fist at God and I said, God, why don't you do something? And He said, I did. I sent you. And if it's not for us, then who? If it's not for now, then when? It's time for us to all do something. And these two exemplify that. So I get the honor of reading Aaron Bradley's bio. And, you know, I've always respected him, but it's always kind of neat to read the stories. I mean, it's just like Vivian, to hear the stories behind what I see out in the community every day. And so it is my distinct privilege today to introduce you to the 2021 and the 2020, you get a double award. Senior Advocacy Award recipient who has spent 40 years in service to older adults and persons with disabilities in Knoxville and East Tennessee and across our state, and also on the national level. Aaron started his career with the Knoxville-Knox County Community Action Committee as the finance manager for the Office on Aging and Nutrition Program. The Knox County Finance Director at the time, Herbert Acuff, specifically recruited Aaron for this opportunity. He spent 7 years at CAC and then applied for the finance manager's position with the East Tennessee Human Resource Agency for the East Tennessee Area Agency on Aging. After a few years as the finance manager, he was promoted to assistant director, and then after a few more years, he was promoted to the director of the office. During the past 30 years, he has worked tirelessly to build a network of services for not only Knoxville, Knox County, but also the entire 16-county region. During this time, he has worked with his colleagues around the state and state leaders to change the way long-term care services are provided. He worked to promote the development of the Options for Community Living program, and then later on, the Medicaid Home and Community-Based Services Waiver program, and then the Choices program that provides thousands of Tennesseans the opportunity to be served in their homes, in their community, in lieu of being served in a nursing facility. When he started on this journey, working with dozens of other advocates across the state to redefine long-term care services in Tennessee, over 99% of all Medicaid long-term care funding was going to support residents in nursing facilities, and only 1% to support individuals at home and in the community. In 2021, we are serving approximately 50% of those who are eligible for Medicaid long-term care services in their home and in the community, or in the community outside an institutional setting. In his tenure as the Area Agency on Aging Director, say that fast 5 times, he has served on the board of directors of the National Association of Area Agencies on Aging and has served on the board of directors for the Southeastern Association for Area Agencies on Aging, and actually is serving at the present time on both boards. Like I say, you need something done, you ask a busy person, as we've seen that here today. He was also selected by my brother to be a delegate at the 2005 White House Conference on Aging in Washington, D.C. Additionally, he has worked to educate the community, legislators, and decision makers on the growing pattern of elder abuse and financial exploitation in our state. I know he's worked significantly with Senator Briggs on that issue a lot. Through his leadership and vision, the East Tennessee Elder Justice Coalition was created over 25 years ago, and through the efforts of the East Tennessee Area Agency on Aging and Disability, the Tennessee Elder Justice Conference was launched and has been a successful statewide educational and advocacy conference on how to improve protections for older Tennesseans and persons with disabilities. This year, he worked with me, and Senator Briggs was the co-prime sponsor, and many other advocates across our state and other members of the Tennessee General Assembly to promote the passage of the Silver Alert legislation that will provide a new program through the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation to alert the media and the general public when someone in our state who is vulnerable goes missing. Now, we've had a localized version of that, but we never had a statewide version, and that's what that has put this in place, and it's going to be coordinated by the TBI for us. We did pass it, and I think it was unanimously, if I can remember correctly. I'm sure it was, and will be implemented in the state and should become operational hopefully later this year. And Governor Lee was kind enough to fund that in his budget so we could implement it. I am told that the next 2 major initiatives that Aaron and his team will be working on with other advocates around the state will be improvements in public transportation that specifically address the growing need for assisted transportation for older adults, And I'll just let you know, Aaron, we did set up the Office of Accessible Transportation for elders and people with disabilities in the State Department of Transportation, and it was the first office of its kind in the country. So we can work to expand that. And then also the gap in residential long-term care system by creating a new licensing category for residential homes to support older individuals and those with physical disabilities. As you can see, our award recipient has served our community and our state with distinction, actually both of them have, and has worked diligently on behalf of our older population and for those with disabilities with one goal in mind, and that is to improve their quality of life. Without further delay, I'd like to congratulate and acknowledge the 2020-2021 recipient of the John J. Duncan Senior Advocate Award recipient, Aaron Bradley.
Before I make my remarks, I want to clear up something that my daughter said, but she didn't tell you. The day I got hired for the post office and I was supposed to be sworn in, my water broke. I refused to leave until they swore me in. I got to the doctor. The doctor said, "Where have you been? You're fully dilated." I said, "I've been getting a job." She was born 45 minutes later. I'm thankful and I'm humbled by this wonderful award. I have to share this with the community because they've helped me to help others for over 50 years. When I needed food or clothing for the needy, the community helped me get it. When the elderly needed comfort baskets or blankets or even socks, the community stepped up every time. For you see, when I need to stand before kings and queens to advocate and fight for those who have no place at the table, behind me stands an army of support, prayer warriors, alms givers, petition gatherers, people who write letters, people who make phone calls, people who march, people who care, and they care until those needs are met. We are only as great as the least of us, and the least of us is not meant in a negative way. We must not care what man thinks of us. We cannot care what they think of us. Our senior population is one of the greatest treasures of our country. They are the shoulders of which we stand on. They are to be honored, protected, lifted up, and cared for. You see, many have no voice at the table. And many live alone and have no one to speak or do for them. It is my belief that we must all walk out Matthew 25:40, using the tools and talents that God has given us. And I will do that until the day I leave this earth. I thank you for this honor. I give God all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory for all of the victories He has given us over these years. As I take my seat, I leave you a charge and a word. Here is my charge to you. Let us continue together to be bold and courageous in our efforts to help others. As we are greater together, give when you can, what you can, while you can. Here is a word to place in your heart as I have placed in mine. And the king will answer them and say, I assure you, whatever you did for the least of these, brothers, you did for me. Thank you.
Had about 20-minute speech written down, but I'm not going to go for that. What I want to say, Vivian and I have bonded over this last year that we've carried this banner, haven't we? It's very difficult to follow that. Congratulations, Vivian. You have a wonderful family. They love you. And let me start with that on my side. My family's here, and they've been my rock and they've been my supporters. And you know, when things get tough, you always know that they're in your corner. And my daughters, both of my daughters are here, Jessica and Jennifer, and Jessica's husband, Michael, my grandson, Braden and Colton, and my younger brother, Jim Bradley. Almost every time we're in a gathering together, we compete to talk to people around the room and announce that I'm younger, I'm younger, I'm younger. Jim has always been a great inspiration and example to me. I look around this room and I see familiar faces. Barbara Kelly I met in 1979 when I applied for a job at CAC, and you all hired me, and that kind of got things going. 7 years later, I had the great fortune of going to work for the Area Agency on Aging and the East Tennessee Human Resource Agency. I was told at the time that I had a one-year contract, and my goal was to go find more money so I could work the second year. I've been there 41 years now. So, you know, in those early years, folks asked me today, you've been doing this a long time, when are you going to retire? And I'd say, don't ask me that again. Because the work is not finished, Vivian. The work is not finished. So when I went to work at the Area Agency on Aging, I had the great opportunity to move up a little bit. But you know what I remember every time someone asks me, what motivates you? Certainly it's family, certainly it's friends, certainly it's the work and the value of the work. But let me tell you what it really is, and I bet it's Vivian's vision too. It is God's support, but it is the faces, the smiles, the thank yous from the elders and those with disabilities we've served. I remember when I was at CAC a number of years ago now, and I would deliver meals, and I've done that right up through my career. And when I would leave someone's home and they would say, God bless you, they didn't realize the value and the support and the power that provided all of us to continue. As Senator Massey said, her family, her dad, her brother, and Senator Massey are the epitome of service in this community. And to be in the same room and to be honored with your dad's award for senior advocacy is extraordinarily special. I met John Duncan Sr., and Barbara Kelly said a while ago, he was a man of honor, but a man of constituent service. And Jimmy was, and you have been as well. I really want to say thank you to the folks who are here who have been friends of mine for a long time. David Perkey, former county mayor up in Hamlin County and just retired recently as the Commissioner of Homeland Security. You've been a great friend and mentor. Mr. Dale Holly, I believe you stood up here a few years ago as an advocate and received this award. Dale has been a longtime friend of mine, and he sent me a text a while ago, and he said, I'm taking care of the people's business. I'm still in court. He's an ADA here in Knox County. And Senator Briggs, I have so enjoyed getting to know you over the last few years. You know, there are people in this room who have heart, and there are people in this room who have great minds. When you put those two together, you can accomplish great, great things. So let me say to my family and my colleagues, and I think you started this off, Vivian, by saying none of us could be here by ourselves. I have a phenomenal team of employees. And the work that we've done over the last 30 years or so speaks for itself. But I'd like to mention a few folks that are here. Tracy Armstrong, who is part of our team, Celeste Allen, Denise West. What's that guy's name there? Oh, Heath Harper, and John Bender. John Bender and I met 20 years ago, and he took to the elder justice issue and has been in that game working in that arena for 20 years. I couldn't be here today without my family, without God's help and prayers, and I couldn't be here without my staff and our staff. So thank you, and thank you for this honor.
Don't sit down. Don't sit down. I'd like to invite Vivian, Shipe, and Mr. Bradley, both of you, to come back up and receive your awards. And Senator Massey will do that.
Okay, for both of them, we have a Senate joint resolution that is signed by Senator Briggs and myself and the Lieutenant Governor McNally and the Governor and Cameron Sexton, so both speakers. And it's just honoring them. And they get extra copies because we had one for last year and one for this year. So, you know, they got one to share with all the family. You know, you can share those. But we have I mean, everything I'm sure that's in these joint resolutions we've said today, so I'm not going to read them again. And we've got flowers and we've got these beautiful awards. So, Vivian, I'm going to give you just leave that there. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Vivian, can I borrow your cheerleaders here a second?
Congratulations.
Thank you, dear. Appreciate it so much.
And my brother didn't tell me I'd get slaughtered. He just told me I'd lose. And being the baby of the family, I'm pretty stubborn, and I said, thanks, just watch me. So, thank you all, and I think you're going to close this out. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. And again, congratulations to both Vivian and to Aaron. Wonderful. We appreciate your service in the community. And several of you who have received the awards before, like ADA Holly that walked in there, we appreciate the work that you've done in the past too. And I've got one more apology to make. Senator Briggs, Becky was sitting there pointing to you the whole time, and I didn't pick up on the cue, and I just, you know, I can't decide which to do, my glasses or my mask, because it fogs up, and I just didn't recognize you. So my apologies to you for not recognizing you earlier. As we wrap up today, I do want to one more time mention our sponsors, Medicare Insurance Advisors, Hunter Valley Farm, Arbitraris, Morning Point Assisted Living and Memory Care, Senior Citizens Home Assistance Service, the family of James R. Allen, Quality Private Duty Care, United Healthcare, NHC Farragut, Alzheimer's Tennessee, and Bob and Maureen Stokes. And they're in the inside of your program, but I also want to point out the back of the program because there's a list of very important people back there. The advisory board members for Senior Information and Referral, and the staff of CAC, of the Office on Aging, and the people who actually do the work and make this all happen. So take a moment to pat those folks on the back. So anyway, but again, thank you all for coming out. Hopefully we won't have a pandemic get in the way, and we'll be able to celebrate the 20th annual John R. Duncan Senior Advocacy Awards about this time of year next year with a full room and not have to worry about streaming issues or internet or anything else. So again, thank you. Congratulations to our winners. I hope you all have a great day. Take all the pictures you want. You know, here's your opportunity for that. Thanks again for coming.